Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to the Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Isaiah.
And today we're going to be smoking the Undercrown 10th anniversary. I know very little about this cigar because I just got it in. So I'll look it up as we get going, but I know it's a more full-bodied cigar, and I'm excited to jump into this.
Yeah, I smoked one of these a while ago when it came out, and I honestly was not impressed.
Really? The 10?
Yeah, the 10.
Okay.
And I don't know if, like, I'm telling you, it had just come out.
Okay.
And I had bought one at a store, so I don't know if they needed some time, and now they finally figured it out. But I'm looking forward to it because you've sung nothing but its absolute praises.
Yeah, actually, I smoked one a few weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. So,
and today we are going to be drinking the Penelope Toasted Rye. And this is 100 proof, and it's a char number 1 toast.
Yeah, and if you've heard us talk a little bit about the Penelope tasting, this was their toasted rye was what the winner was.
Yeah, this is the star of the show.
So we're excited about it.
I do love this bottle. I never was able to find one for myself, but, you know, such is life. If I remember correctly, this is an MGP 100% malted rye. Yeah, it's not going to tell me on the bottle.
No.
But if anybody knows anything about that mash bill, if what I told you was correct, one of the more allocated releases from Smoke Wagon, from Nevada Distilling Co., was the Smoke Wagon Malted Rye. It went crazy on secondary in the markets that got it. Yeah, supposedly this is that same juice, except toasted.
Toasted.
So,
because we like a good toasted.
Yeah, everybody does.
Everybody does. I hear everyone's doing it.
Everybody is doing it. Everybody's doing it nowadays.
They are.
Are you finding what this cigar
I am.
is?
So this does fit your world here. It's a San Andreas wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and fillers.
Wow. That is very original of them.
Yep.
But I appreciate it.
It doesn't say anything about the binder and filler. Here we go. Maybe it does. Yep, Nicaraguan binder. Oh, Nicaraguan fillers. Binder is Connecticut broadleaf and San Andreas.
Wow.
So they got a double binder going.
Yeah.
So the broadleaf and San Andreas combo. That's kind of a nice combo.
So is this full bodied?
It is. Well, no, medium full. My bad.
I think that's a lie. If you're gonna throw Connecticut broadleaf but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I will say one thing. The cold draw is very open, which I like. I've had too many of the Liga line in the last few weeks that have not been as open as this one. This one's actually perfect.
Yeah. It is like dark fig in there.
And Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
Cocoa Puffs and
it's
fig.
It's really interesting. Looking at the foot of this cigar, you can see a really dark ring, and then it lightens up in the center.
Yep. Yeah. I'm excited to smoke it.
Yeah, me too.
Because you never know. I think I smoked this one on the beach, and I always tell people all the time, the cigar you smoked on the beach might not have been as good as you realize, just because it was the experience of being on the beach. And hanging out
typically
and
it's not. There's so much wind going there, and it's salt water. A lot of times there's seaweed up there. You're smelling that too. This whiskey is lemony to me, which is one of my favorite things.
Nice.
In a rye. But today, both Rob and I are lighting the cigar with the Colibri Julius.
I'm using a Zippo.
Oh, you're using
a Zippo with the butane insert.
Okay, so Rob went cheap on us today. But, yeah.
Machines dehumanize.
I know. I was having such a hard time focusing when the TV's yelling, "Tomo arigato, Mr. Ro."
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely got that citrusy thing going, doesn't it?
Yeah. I have a secret.
Yeah, when we did the tasting with Penelope, Wendy, and her crew, she brought this bottle out at the very end,
And it
and
hadn't even been released
yeah,
yet.
no one in Indiana had it yet, and we I think we might have killed that bottle while she was here, the group that was here, and that's not how a tasting usually goes.
No, but Penelope was very, very kind to us. Very kind to us.
Mm-hmm.
On
got
the,
a good
on the
amount
palate
of-
of this. It is like black pepper chocolate.
Yeah, what you would expect out of San Andreas
Yeah.
and broadleaf.
Yeah, on the retro hill, it's just a little bit of black pepper. It's not too spicy for me.
No,
Also, is like you opened a bag of Cocoa Puffs. Like
Yeah.
it just that smell is what's hanging around.
well, and I like it because it gives you that blast of pepper when you first retrohale, and then it fades away quick. It doesn't stay in the sinuses and really
Yeah.
kind of hit you for very long. But so far, so good.
So far, so good. This draw is immaculate. Rob and I were discussing pre-show. If you see this cigar, it has a little band around the top of the cigar, just a real nice ribbon. We were thinking about smoking through it, seeing if it provided
The
the
ribbon?
flavor.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
Well, it will provide.
It'll provide something.
It'll provide something, but you will
chemicals.
you'll be smoking plastic. So
Yes.
please take it off.
Yes, it's a nice presentation though.
It is a great.
It's a good looking
presentation.
box too. The way that they designed that box is kind of nice.
So on to the Penelope Toasted. After retrohaling, it smells even more lemon marshmallowy to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
even more lemony on the palate.
Yeah, but it's like candied lemon.
Yeah.
Like it's,
like a-
not
it's like-
acidic in any way.
No, it's like a lemon drop.
Yeah.
No, it's a little bit more sour than lemon drop. More like these.
But it has that marshmallowy toasted
It still does.
quality.
It still does.
Yeah, it's really nice. It is really, really nice.
Which again, you think about that, a toasted rye coming up with this much lemon. That's kind of cool. I like that.
yeah.
So, I hear through the grapevine that somebody got a new job.
He did. Yeah. So I will be starting, well, when this comes out next week. So the week of Thanksgiving, which will be interesting. That's going to be a crazy busy week for me. New job. My family's Thanksgiving. Victoria's family's Thanksgiving. It's
Nice,
just
everybody.
Yeah, it's a whole lot. So my November is just shot from this point forward.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is.
It is.
and we'll get through it. I'm looking forward to it. It has been hard saying goodbye and telling people at my current position. Like it's just, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But it'll be good on the other end. The new place is really taking care of Victoria and I. And they're excited about us coming over and joining their team. So
Good.
it's good.
Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah,
been a long time coming.
a long time coming.
Yep. So, well, good for you. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers to that. I was gonna bring a celebratory pour, and then I forgot.
Yeah.
It's early.
Yeah. Excuse me for sitting there staring at my phone. You know, I'm just having a conversation with Jackie Zycan. I mean,
Yeah.
no big
Hang
deal.
up and hang out.
No big deal. She's coming to do an event.
Yeah.
And hopefully in January or February, we're trying to figure it out right now. And it's looking like right now it could possibly be a Sunday afternoon after we close.
Cool.
So we can close down and have just her in here with about 35 of her closest friends in Indiana.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that because once we get a confirmed
Jackie has a
date-
lot of paid friends, so
Yeah.
you can pay to be her.
Yes, you
friend.
can pay to be her friend. It'll probably be about $150 to pay to be her friend, but it'll be worth it.
And it's not $150 for a class that you'll get nothing out of. It's
Yeah.
$150 for stuff that you'll be able to take with you and see. And,
Well, and what it
and
is,
a whole
it's actually a
experience.
sensory training program. Jackie's been in the industry for a long time. She worked for Wolf Forester for many, many years. She's working for Neely Family Farms now. She has her own fragrance line. But she's been known for her sensory training and her palate. And she will literally, through this program, probably about an hour and a half, teach you how to distinguish flavor notes in whiskey.
Yeah.
Which will equate to flavor notes in tobacco and food and everything because it's the same training. So it'll be kind of fun to do that. But, like I said, keep on the lookout on that because as soon as we nail it down, we'll probably post out that we're going to be, giving you a week notice so you see the post when we're going to actually open the tickets up because it will sell out.
It will.
And we'll be getting that going here soon. So be on the lookout on the email and on our social media. Like I said, we'll give a good week notice before we actually post out the to pay for the tickets. So
Yeah. So I see you rocking a necklace today, which you don't normally do. Is that Guinness?
I've had it for a while. It's it's an Irish coin from my birth year.
Yeah.
So
It just looks like the Guinness logo on there.
well, it's Irish.
Yeah,
So they use the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Give me a pint.
a pint.
Give me a pint.
I'm actually not a huge Guinness fan.
I like Guinness.
Unless it's necessary when you're making a shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
You gotta have it for that. And I also think it's necessary for Irish car bombs. But
Yeah. I really like one of my goals, and I'm not a huge person that wants to travel all the time.
Yeah.
But one of the places I do want to go is I want to go to Ireland and I want to go to a freaking Irish pub and I want to get a lukewarm Guinness and sit there and just talk to the people, man.
man,
I
you're
love
really
it.
selling the
I love it.
experience.
That's what that's how you're supposed to drink Guinness.
I know. Yeah.
I would love to do that. That's one of my bucket list items I'm going to make happen here in the next few years.
Isaiah Long did Ireland and Scotland, and when he was in Ireland, he spent almost every night at a pub. He said
have
pub
to.
food's great. I mean, it's just in the culture. The pub food's great. The atmosphere is great. You get a pint of Guinness or you get a pour of Jameson.
Yep. Well, the reason why Guinness was invented, right?
What's that?
So it was actually, Guinness was I don't know if he was a pastor or he was a leader in the church over there. And the culture of Ireland was a bunch of drunks. So they wanted to create a heavy, heavy beer that was low in ABV that after drinking one or two, you're not drunk, but you're full.
Yeah.
And that's where Guinness came out.
Well,
I'm like,
they definitely accomplished that.
They did.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because, you don't think of religion, but now you're starting to see more of it. You don't think of religion actually being one of the biggest beer brands in the world came from a church leader trying to keep his people from being hammered all the time.
And there's a lot of of these super niche craft beers like Einstock, beers like that are made in monasteries.
Yeah.
Like
mead.
Yeah.
Mead and some distillates.
Yeah, it is a historic part of the church, whether the holiness tradition of Christianity would like to address it or not.
Yeah.
Like Martin Luther, who's responsible, the catalyst for the Protestant Reformation. Like he famously said when he was asked about the point of drunkenness, because as far as Christianity is concerned, drunkenness is a sin. He said, "You know that you have sinned when you wake up and feel bad."
Pretty much. Yeah. That's the thing. Anything in moderation. If you're abusing it, then you're doing something wrong. Your body tells you you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So, it is pretty wild though to see around the world. I know there's a couple of breweries in Ohio that's in an old monastery, and it's some of the people from the monastery are the ones running it, other people brewing. But it's just it's kind of cool to see the cross nature there a little bit that you didn't see a few years ago.
Dude, this cigar is a smokestack. Like, it is. And
I really like it.
You're further along than I am already.
I'm over puffing. I'm puffing a little bit more than you, but it doesn't take much. It stays lit well.
No, it's
smoking well.
I
The
think
draw
this
is
thing's
perfect.
gonna smoke itself.
It could, but I'm digging it. I mean, I really do like it. I'm liking it as much as I liked it on vacation right now. We'll see how it holds up to second and third.
Yeah. So you guys had an Ash and Elm tasting.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was really good. Mary came in and did the tasting. She's going to do another one.
And who is Mary?
She is the I guess we consider her maybe the brand ambassador for
Okay.
them. She's going back to school, but she just does events now. Mainly
Yeah.
is what her job
Cool.
is. And she come out and she brought in 5 or 6 different ciders and had people coming in for about 2-3 hours, and she'd go through her spiel, and it was really good. And some of their stuff is really good too. It's, we've had the Oliver ciders in here for a
Yeah.
long time, but it's a big bottle and it's almost 10% ABV.
Yeah.
That's a lot for a cider.
Yeah.
Unless you really dig that, which I think they taste great.
They do taste good.
But the Ash and Elms are a little bit lower ABV.
They're
in
more
that
what you
4 to 5.
expect when you say cider.
Exactly. And they're in a 12-ounce can. So you can have 2 or 3 of those and not even feel them, and it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But they have some good flavors too, and I think they're going to be a staple here, and they're local.
They
It's
are
even
local.
better.
Ash and Elm does a really good job of partnering up with events and doing limited edition like ciders and stuff like that. Like I know Sun King normally does one for the state fair, but
Yeah.
Ash and Elm last year they did a cider for Newfield's like Christmas light experience.
Yeah.
So you could go and get this limited edition cider that you could only get at that event.
That's cool.
And it was fantastic. It was the thing that impresses me is that no matter how much they fruit or throw in spices or whatever, it is always a clean drinking cider.
is.
Like
It
it's
is.
not heavy, it's not sugary in any way.
It leans
just-
toward the apple, and
Yeah.
not a super sweet apple, just a good crisp apple. But like you said, the seasonal ones, Autumn Tide, it was a pumpkin one, and everyone thinks, oh, pumpkin spice, yeah, blah blah, whatever. This was actually just a very, very subtle pumpkin where
Yeah.
you tasted it if you wanted to, but if you didn't want to, you wouldn't taste it. So it was nice. We met them down at the Indy Fuel sponsors event, and they're sponsoring the fuel this year.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think they might have jumped in with the Pacers possibly too, but I may be wrong about that one. But I think I saw something here this week that they did.
Yeah. I
but-
did see somebody who jumped in with the Pacers.
Tell us about it. I think I know who you're talking about.
Moondrops down
Yeah.
the street. They're doing a limited edition bottling for the Pacers, and I don't know how to get a hold of that or where it'll be sold, or if it'll only be at.
Pacer games.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the name of the field house, but I don't know what it is anymore.
I think is it Gainbridge Fieldhouse
That
now?
sounds right because
Yeah.
it was
Conseco forever.
Conseco and Bankers Life,
and
and now it's Gainbridge.
Yeah.
It's like anytime I'm buying concert tickets, like I still think of the one in Noblesville as
Deer Creek. You're younger though, so Deer Creek.
I think
wasn't
of it
even
as
around when you-
Klipsch.
Klipsch was
Yeah. Because I went to so many concerts at Klipsch,
Yep.
and then they just like changed sponsors, and I'm like, "What the heck is this?
Well,
Where is that at?" And then
when
I'll
you're-
like Google it and be like, "Oh, that's Klipsch."
It's
Like,
Klipsch. Right, when you're my age and you talk about Deer Creek, it splits the room real fast because half the people that are over about 45, 50 remember Deer Creek, but the younger people are like, that was Klipsch.
Yeah.
And what is it now? Is it still Klipsch?
No.
No?
Farmers something? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean,
I forgot that it changed names again. I haven't seen a concert in a while. We have Styx up on the TV right now, and I remember going to see. We went and saw Styx at Deer Creek when it was Deer Creek, and they did the Return to Paradise tour, and it was such a good concert. But I know I'm old, and you young people don't really like Styx as much as I did. You figured out?
I'm trying to figure out how to Ruoff.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ruoff Home Mortgage concerts.
Yeah, that's where I want to see Metallica.
Yeah.
Oh my!
At least it isn't
gosh.
like hemorrhoid cream or something.
Yeah, tell them about your hemorrhoid cream.
I don't have hemorrhoid cream.
I thought that was what your tattoo stuff was.
No, it's just a numbing agent. I did part of it, but I thought he was going to stop here. He went up here, and I didn't have any there, but it was fine.
Yeah, looks like
I was snoring pretty good.
yeah,
It was good.
Yeah, there you go.
It's healing. It's a slow healer. My wrist, I've got a little bit of scabbing there because it didn't get covered very well, but it's fine. I'll survive.
You will.
Yeah. When are you getting your next one?
Probably February. Yeah, I think we're gonna go.
Titty Dragon?
No, no, definitely not. We're gonna go down to Nashville sometime in February, or at least that's the current plan. And I'll just hit up my guy Eli and be like, "Hey, you got a day for me?"
Yeah.
And he always says yes.
That's cool.
I have followed him around to every single shop that he's been at, and like, we got a good relationship.
So on this smoke right now, take a puff. I feel like on the palate, it's dropped off and gotten pretty
Yeah, it's mellowed
basic.
out a little bit.
Mellowed out a lot. The retrohale still got some spice to it, but the smoke itself is smoothed out quite a bit.
The palate to me is like an unsweetened chocolate cereal.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Like a cocoa. What do they call those? The wheat. What do they call those wheat? The
The like mini frosted
mini wheats, yeah, but like a light cocoa or something
Yeah.
on there. Yeah,
I
still
guess-
good, but it's definitely lost a lot of that spice that I was enjoying on the beginning of the palate. But we'll keep going with it.
Yeah, we're about
Just an inch in, not even an inch in.
not even a full inch.
I mean, 3 inches in.
Is that how we measure?
That's how we measure, buddy.
Yeah.
We're white.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Okay.
Yeah, we're so here in let's see, what is today's date? Today is the 10th. This is coming out on the 13th.
Yes.
13th.
Yes.
So next weekend, we're heading down to Nashville.
Cool.
Going down to see a hockey game, spend some time at Jack Ruby's and some other places
What
in
is
Nashville.
Jack Ruby's?
It's like a real high-end steakhouse down there.
Nashville, Tennessee? You need to go to Smoker's Abbey.
We're gonna try. It just depends because we're gonna have the wives with us too. Scott DeShong, Janelle, and then Lisa and I are going. And then we're coming back. The game's on Monday, and then we're coming back on Tuesday. Well, Monday night after the game or Monday before the game, we're gonna be walking downtown, checking out some music and all that fun stuff.
That's the worst part of Nashville.
Is it?
Yeah, downtown.
Well, yeah, but we're gonna be going. I don't know where we're going for sure. Scott's got that all planned out, so we're
Yeah.
good there.
No, that'll be fun. Don't go to Casa de Monte Cristo.
No.
They take terrible care of their cigars. They are closest to the downtown area.
We're gonna try to get that Smoker's Abbey. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how close it is, but we're gonna try to get there.
It's close enough.
Okay.
If you're in downtown proper, you're talking 15 minutes.
Now, do they have outdoor seating?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
they got a little porch area out front, so you
Okay.
can sit there.
I was just
Also,
hoping for. I know Janelle's not. She didn't like being around smoke a whole
Other
lot.
thing
so.
is in the same strip with them is a place called Otaku Ramen.
Mhm.
So a lot of people will go and grab ramen and then bring it into Smoker's Abbey.
Oh,
and
nice.
it's freaking good.
Okay.
But
But we're gonna stop by my favorite Kentucky distillery on the way back home, Heaven Hill.
Heaven's Hill.
They got me a bottle reserved for me that when I get it, I'll talk about it because I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's the thing.
I'm excited.
I didn't know they did that.
huh?
I didn't know they did that, and maybe they don't
Don't do
that.
what?
Reserve.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
know.
because we bought so much, and my local guy found one for me and has it reserved for me. So we'll find out if I get it. I hope so because I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
it's one
I'm
of the bottles
excited
I've
to
been
try
more
it.
excited to. Exactly, it'll be on the show. Trust me.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, hopefully you'll be able to see it. So we'll see.
Heck yeah. No, man, Nashville's a fun town. You know, you want your hot chicken, go to Hattie B's. But if you want the best hot chicken sandwich, you go to Waldo's Chicken and Beer.
We're there for like a day and a half. I don't think I'm going to be
Hey,
eating every
man.
restaurant in Nashville.
Waldo's Chicken and Beer. That's my place.
I know I'm going to be getting my 74-day aged steak from Jack Ruby's. I'm
Yeah.
definitely getting that.
Heck yeah.
But
That'd be nice.
I don't know what else, but we'll figure it out. But honestly, I'm just as excited to go to Heaven Hill. I mean, that bar they have upstairs, I just love that place.
Yeah.
Do you remember, did they have food at Heaven Hill? I don't think they did they?
I don't remember seeing
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just a
bar, I believe.
bar. Yeah.
Which would make
well,
sense.
because
It
we
would
had
be-
to go to Bardstown proper to get food.
Which that may be where we go get a burger afterwards.
That burger place was
great.
great, and their prices were
Cheap.
yeah.
Cheap.
I mean, it was a solid smash burger experience. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't have
For
wanted-
McDonald's prices.
Yeah,
Well, maybe a little bit more
little
like
bit
Hardee's
more.
prices.
yeah. But as far as quality and everything goes, I could not complain about that. That's just absolutely wonderful.
And the good thing is we're going to be going through Kentucky on Tuesday when the distilleries finally decide to open.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. Yeah, now I'm excited. We're gonna try to hit up a couple liquor stores on the way back, see if we find anything. And
The
yeah, you
liquor
never know.
stores to go to, liquor barns always, but my favorite stop, and I guess I'll put it on the show, is John O's in Elizabethtown. It's right off the Elizabethtown exit off of 65.
Okay.
And it's right next to Kroger. So
Okay.
you see Kroger, you see the gas station, and you'll see John O's.
Okay.
And they would typically have some of the lower tier allocated stuff.
God, I
in
hope they
there.
have Blanton's.
They do, and they always
kidding.
price it reasonably. I mean, I have an affinity for E-Town. That's where I was born. But like that, John O's has always been good to me. You can find some of when Akers was still doing the license plate series, like the FAEO 1, FAEO 2, the BRTs. You could find those there when they would drop. I'm sure they don't have any cellar aged. But normally, if nothing else, they'll have Henry McKenna 10 in there. And at Kentucky prices and not Kentucky distillery prices, like it's a great well pour and it's great for all your old fashions
Yeah.
and everything.
I did crack the one we got when we were down at Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
And but I haven't. By the way, I wanted to show this. That ash is holding on tight, and that burn line is absolutely perfect.
I
This
knocked
thing is
mine
smoking
off, yeah.
perfectly right now.
And I already
happy
took the
with it.
band off because I saw it was coming off easy. On the back of the first band, it says "Thank you," and on the front it says "Cigar Rings."
Nice, nice. Yeah, this
And
one
the
definitely
huge
comes off
band
easy.
has a whole
Story.
novel on it,
Nice.
and on the front it says "Cigar Rings." So
Huh, imagine that.
yeah, but that's probably the thickest band that I've felt.
Yeah, those are thick. Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's cardboard almost.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But it came off in one piece. And you know what? It better.
Yeah.
It better.
Well, and I'll tell you something. With that little ribbon, it kind of lifts it slightly up off the cigar.
It does.
So it does another extra added thing there. It makes it easier to pull off. I guarantee if you smoke this all the way down towards the band, it'll probably slide right off with that extra
The band?
extra gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it will. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, do it.
I'm going to.
Do it.
I am.
I bet you won't.
I bet I will if I remember. Oh man.
Yeah.
Schnitzel, bitches.
So one thing I did see this week, and I'll pull it up because it's the freaking government again. The FDA is, they got their hands slapped and chastised by the Supreme Court because they told them that they had no business, getting into the whole premium cigar industry because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And of course, they came back and are trying to do it again. So you've got the Cigar Association of America and the Premium Cigar Association that are fighting right now against them to try to stop it, and basically going the same things. Like, and some of the things that, and this might be news to some of you too. The biggest reason why they're doing this is because they claim that flavored cigars are attracting kids to smoking cigars. First of all, kids are not going to spend $10, $15, $20 on a good flavored cigar. I know there's cheap ones out there, but like the Deadwoods and the ones that really affect the premium cigar industry, they're never going to go after those. If they do, then they shouldn't be getting them in the first place because the laws are 21 and over anyway.
Yeah.
But this study had something in here that I was really impressed with. I'm trying to find it right now. Where is it? It said over the last several years, with the regulations coming out, plus with the cigar industry abiding by the 21 and over, cigar shops, cigar lounges, carding people, making sure you're not giving tobacco to kids if they do come in, which I've never had a single under 21 kid come in here once.
No.
The percentage of kids smoking, this says just smoking, not just smoking cigars, but it says smoking, is down to like 0.8% of all underage kids are smoking now.
Well, why do that when you can vape in your bedroom and hide it from your mom?
Right. And that's what they're doing if they're wanting to at all. But that's the thing that I've been trying to figure out, and I can't find it in here anywhere. They're trying to lump vaping and cigars and cigarettes and all together. So are they telling me that the 8.8% is all kids smoking, vaping, and doing cigarettes? Or is that just...
They normally make a distinction of smoking and vaping.
Except for the fact that everything else they're doing here, they're not making a distinction.
Yeah,
so
but the cigar
the
news
numbers.
sites and the cigar advocates will, and they have to, like as far as sales and everything goes, they have to lump all tobacco products together. They have numbers, as far as I know, and they have numbers for tobacco products, and then they have numbers for nicotine products.
Okay.
So it's
I don't know about that. I've never heard that before. But I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Because they have all the stats on kids vaping now, and that's more than 8.8% or whatever you said.
Which again, another product that you can only buy if you're 21.
Yeah.
That means they're buying it illegally. So, I mean, it's like pot. Pot's illegal in Indiana. If you're buying pot, you're breaking the law.
But I remember when I was in high school.
Not that I have a problem with that.
There was a lot of kids vaping, and the way that you'd get around that is you would order it online. You just did, and you inputted like your mom or your older brother's ID, and you could just buy whatever you wanted to.
But then that's on the delivery service for not getting a signature and checking an ID.
But
I mean, it all comes down to somebody screwed up.
But you say that, and then we ship cigars to people. It's like,
yep. But if I put tobacco on there, the delivery service is supposed to get a signature, adult signature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people won't put tobacco on them, but
a lot of the online services don't. I have had boxes and boxes of cigars just left on my front porch.
Yeah. But if you do put tobacco on them, which you should,
which interpersonally
I don't
you
like
can't
it.
do.
Yeah.
You cannot do if you're not a retailer with a tobacco license. And I'm not telling you should ship people cigars, but sometimes you want to send a Christmas gift and you full well knowing the person on the receiving end is plenty of age.
Yes.
And that's another thing.
Yeah. But, again, the government getting involved with things that they don't understand. And honestly, I bet you anything, most of it's not even trying to stop it. Some of it is, but they're trying to come up with money, tax money, and they think, well, let's just raise the tax rate, and they don't realize when you start doing the numbers and you like having a cap in every state, on cigars, all that does is increase more revenue for them because the cap affects the low cost stuff that they sell at gas stations, which is 99% of the stuff selling in the States anyway. That increases the taxes on that stuff.
I'm telling you, they sell 1 million more Black and Milds at the BP up the street than we ever do of the entire catalog of cigars at Final Third.
Yep, because I mean, they do, and that's what happens. And it's a shame when you show those numbers to a legislator. They are shocked, but then they immediately seem to forget. It's like, that can't be right. So, we're in that fight again.
And all legislation has some sort of political leaning or funding behind it. Either way. Things could be solved a lot better if people were able to just look at the facts and say yes or no. But there is so much money that goes into fund campaigns. And where's that button?
All the lobbyists.
Yeah. All of the lobbyists, all of the money that goes to these people to fund re-election campaigns, everything like that. They've got to keep those people happy. Yep. And whether what those people are doing and believing in is good for an industry or not, it doesn't matter because that politician is getting money.
Yep.
They just are.
Yep. And once you get to that point of your political career, you typically have to pick a side or pick your party or whatever, and you sold your soul to that party at that point.
Yeah.
Not everybody. I'm not going to put everybody in that
everybody
thing.
has.
I feel like every politician is not every. I feel like most politicians, especially ones that start at the town level, start doing it to make a good change.
Yeah. And
at some point, if you keep going up the ladder, there's a little bit of selling your soul, and that's a shame because, wouldn't it be amazing in America if we were to have a president come into the White House that didn't give a crap about any of the politics or anything else, and they're just doing the right thing for the right reasons?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Hey, you got a delivery, Rob. Heck yeah.
All right. Well, talk amongst yourself for a minute.
Well, this week I just saw that Harlan Wheatley invited some people in from Whiskey Advocate to do a tasting of the 5-bottle lineup of Buffalo Trace's Prohibition collection. So that includes basically these are 5 bottles that they did that are old labels that Buffalo Trace Distilling owns. So they did Golden Wedding, Walnut Hill, Spiritus, Frumenti, Old Stag, and Three Feathers. And this is $1,000 Prohibition collection. So they basically release these labels with their current juice, as much as Scott Johnston hates to say that. But they did the thing that is sad about it all is that Whiskey Advocate had nothing but good things to say about it. Like, the Old Stag is an uncut and unfiltered American whiskey at 132.4 proof. They said in the part of the article, what's Old Stag taste like? Compared to Three Feathers, it's more, and Three Feathers was their rye whiskey. It's big and brash on the nose, powerful vanilla, sharp hints of dark red berries. Starts out soft on the palate, but quickly heats up, filling your mouth with a warming fire. Push past the heat, and you'll find some sweetness towards the finish, which is big and long, with a little salted caramel right at the very end. If you're a fan of the rest of the Stag family, you'll definitely find Old Stag right up your alley.
Old Stag.
The problem is these are $1,000 bottles.
Oh, jeez.
And it's a 5-bottle collection, so it's like
$5,000.
Let me check to make sure that that's per bottle, but I think it is. Bro.
Yeah, because it was 5 bottles for $1,000. That might be approachable. Couple $100 a bottle.
Yeah. So, how much is the
Riveting radio.
the annual multi-bottle production will be available for $1,000. So it kind of sounds like
The whole 5-pack.
the whole 5-pack.
That would, I mean, honestly, if I could get one. You said they're all old stags, what you said?
No, Three Feathers, which is a rye,
Okay.
Old Stag, Spiritus Frumenti, Walnut Hill, and Golden Wedding is the 5-pack.
Huh, okay. I don't know anything about any of them. Except for the one.
Yeah, I am trying to figure out for sure.
It'd be interesting to find out if that's worth it. Well, and then if you can even get it, that's the other thing too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Prohibition Collection will be rolling out in limited quantities to its distributor network, which will ship to select retailers, bars, and restaurants across the United States as of October 23 at a suggested retail price of $999.99, and it is 5 375 milliliter bottles.
Jeez, okay, so small bottles too.
So you are talking
$200, or it'd be $400 for a typical 750 if it was that big. That's a little steep.
It is kind of like it is steep.
It's a lot
and
steep.
Really, so Golden Wedding is 107 proof rye whiskey. It doesn't say anything about its age. Three Feathers is 100 proof bottled in bond whiskey. Walnut Hill is a 90 proof rye, high rye bourbon. And the Spiritus Frumenti is a 110 proof wheated bourbon. So the Spiritus Frumenti is a 110 proof Weller product.
Sure.
You know, Walnut Hill is going to be a 90 proof. I mean, it's going to be Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
Like they say high rye bourbon.
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare is their high rye bourbon mash bill.
And you got Sazerac rye.
Golden
probably.
Wedding is 107 proof rye whiskey. What's that going to be? That's 107 proof Sazerac.
Yeah.
And then Old Stag is 132.4 proof. That's just I'm sure it's closest to a Stag Junior.
Yeah.
Everybody in the comment on it has said it's hot. It drinks hot. But if you like Stag,
I like it. Yeah.
Part of me wonders if it was like that 2020 or whatever that year was that Will let us try that was just hot.
Could be.
Hot.
But wonder why they're calling it Old Stag.
Because that's the old label. They're doing Prohibition era
I got you.
labels.
You probably said that, and now I'm just having
I
you
did,
repeat
but
it. Sorry.
you were
I was busy.
taking delivery, and,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
That's okay. Which, by the way, Sazerac rye did just come in.
Wow.
Hey, see you, Mario.
man. But
yeah, so we got some Sazerac rye now. If anybody wants to get some in here,
which the crazy thing is Meyer and Sazerac rye has hit like crazy around here. It used to be something that you could only find every once in a while, and even when you could only find it every once in a while, I passed it up.
yeah,
Not saying that it's a bad product.
no,
There's just other products I would drink before that.
yeah,
And for me, it would sit in the line of like cocktail rye, and I have other ryes like Rittenhouse that I prefer.
yeah.
But
I like that High West double rye for a cocktail.
yeah. But Meyer, and I even saw like Costco and Sam's Club, they got pallets of this stuff.
yeah.
Like I'm talking handles and the 750s. And
I figured that was the case when I got that text from my distributor saying we got some if you want it.
yeah, they got a ton.
Yep.
So
I'm hoping we can, get something special in here from them, but I don't think they're gonna do that for me, since I don't play the Fireball and Wheatley vodka game.
I can't believe you wouldn't do that. That's so rude of you, Rob. Dude, this cigar is super slow burning. We're
Yeah.
45 minutes in, and I'm not even
close to the midpoint yet.
I'm probably approaching the second, third.
Yeah, I'm just now getting into the second, third probably right now.
It is ridiculous.
And it's good. It's not blowing my palate away with a ton of complexity, but the flavors I'm getting are flavors I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, it's that mild cocoa still, almost a little bit of a, not really wheat, but like a toasted wheat maybe.
Yeah.
The smoke is thick and very, very viscous on the smoke, which is kind of an odd thing to say, but it is. But yeah, you can still see it. It's still a little smokehouse, man.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely just throwing off smoke, which is amazing. Like it's smoke output on this thing is great.
Yeah.
No complaints here.
I'm impressed. I'm happy to have them in here.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple different sizes. I got the Toro and I got the Corona. And I'm super excited to smoke that Corona because I love Coronas anyway.
Of the 10?
Of the 10, yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize they had one. That's
Yep.
cool.
And then we got some of the Undercrown regular Maduros. I know Will Breeden, shout out. He's a fan of that cigar too. And so we'll have that one in here. We've got a couple of the Herrera Esteles. They're darker one. So, and then we've of course got all the sweet stuff here too. So
Yeah, this rye with this cigar is just adding a nice brightness to a really dark flavor palette, and
Yeah.
they're balancing each other out really well.
well, and that's the thing about this rye. That I think it's just the toasting process.
Yeah.
It cuts down on a lot of that kind of rye spice and just makes it more smooth. It's got the flavor, but it leans towards a bourbon to me on the not a bourbon, but on the way it's smooth.
Yeah.
It's smoother like a bourbon. It's not as pungent as a rye can be.
It's not sharp and punchy
Not at
in
all.
any way. It's great. Rob, I saw you got some new bottles in this week.
Yeah. Well, we tried that Balmora from Garrison Brothers last night on the show, and people have been loving that, man.
It's great.
I'm gonna have to try to get some more because I thought with that being a high dollar bottle, it'd take some time, but we've sold a lot of it already, so that's good. We got the Heaven's Door Decade Series, the 10-year decade.
And is that a rye as well?
No. Well, let me grab them. We'll look at them.
Yeah, go ahead and grab them. You got the Heaven's Door Decade, which is it's a rye. And then he also got a Kentucky Owl, which I have not seen this one.
Yeah, this Kentucky Owl is like it's the Japanese. It's like Japanese tradition made in Kentucky.
Yeah, so Kentucky Owl does these releases where they will bring in blenders and distillers from other countries. They did one for St. Patrick's Day where they brought in people from Ireland to blend Kentucky whiskey. And it's just a super cool idea.
It is.
Because you have a different palate's take on an American spirit.
Yeah.
So,
And you look at that, and that looks like that should be something made in Japan. It's a lighter color.
yeah.
A little bit more, got that red tint to it. It's good. I really enjoyed it. It definitely doesn't drink like a bourbon, which it shouldn't. It's more of a Japanese style whiskey. So,
Yeah. So I am not going to read the names of the people that blended this.
no, I don't speak that language.
Ain't no way. But it is a Japanese whiskey blender and also the Kentucky Owl Master Blender, John Ray, that did it. And this is at 100 proof. So also typical for that's high proof
That's
for
high for
Japanese
Japanese,
whiskey,
yeah.
but it's low proof for Kentucky Owl.
So it's kind of a nice
Yeah.
little medium point. And this is a straight whiskey, 10-year-old Heaven's Door, which I'm sure is all. It's 90. Yeah, it's a 95 rye mash bill from MGP.
Is it
aged
from
for over-
MGP?
Well, distilled in Indiana, so you
That'll do it.
decide. Yes, probably maybe Moon. No, but it's aged 10 years in New American White Oak.
That's cool.
Kind of cool. It's not super dark, but it shouldn't be in a new White Oak. They probably didn't toast the barrel or anything.
No, I'll bet they did. They
probably had a char on it, but they probably didn't do any extra. It's definitely not a heavy char.
The
for 10 years.
The other thing that bottle has going against it is how thin it is compared to everything else. Just because of their bottle shape, their whiskeys are not perceived as dark.
That's true.
You think about like the Jack Daniel's Bonded over there, that looks really dark, but that is just a ton of whiskey you got to see through to get to the light.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. If you look through it that way, it definitely looks dark.
Yeah. So, I guess another thing to take into account when you're buying based off of color, which is not a reason you should buy anything.
No.
That being said, that Garrison Brothers is crazy dark, and it's a thinner bottle.
Yes, it is crazy dark.
But that's just Texas, baby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and that is a good point, too. That one thing you were seeing there for a while, probably 2-3 years ago, was you had to really check to see if they were adding any artificial colors to the whiskey. Haven't really heard much of that.
Well, I mean,
as much lately.
You're not able to do it in in American whiskey across the board. You're not able to do that without it becoming a whiskey specialty.
Right.
And you can do that in all of the finished products. Mm-hmm. So if somebody wants to take a port finished rye and make it more red, you can do it.
Yep.
The class has already changed. The label sometimes has to change. It depends on the TTB agent that approves it, but it's really a rabbit hole to go down, just because there's no consistency on the TTB's end, which is not my favorite thing, but it is what it is. But in like Ireland and Scotland, they can color stuff all that they want to.
Yeah. And they typically don't. That's why you see most Irish and Scotch coming through, and it's so clear, not clear, but very, very light, because they don't have to. Well, let the whiskey speak for itself.
Some of them do, and it's just to keep the consistency on the shelf. But then you see brands like Lagavulin and Laphroaig. Yeah. They have colored bottles.
Yeah.
So that people aren't judging the bottles next to each other on the shelf. The other thing about Laphroaig is it all comes in a tube.
Yeah.
So it's just like another way that unless you poured it into a glass, you're not going to see the color inconsistency. The thing is it could taste the exact same as a whiskey that's lighter or darker than it, because they blended it to the same profile, but the whiskeys in it were just lighter or darker. So you could have two that look visually different that are tasting very similar.
Yeah. Have you ever had Obtainium?
Light whiskey?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that's from Cat's Eye Distilling. And actually, while you're in Nashville, you should probably pick one up.
Well, there's a couple of new regulars that come in here now. He got a bottle of it. He said it was 152 proof. And he was going to bring it in for me to try.
Cat's Eye Distilling, as far as I know, has used mostly MGP stuff, and Obtainium is MGP's light whiskey.
Okay.
I have had some really, really good releases from the Cat's Eye Distillery. Some of my favorite is in their line called Nassif, Nassif, but they are doing finished stuff, and they had one that was I think they ended up calling it an American whiskey because they had blended quite a few things, finished in a red wine barrel. And oh my gosh, if it was not just strawberry cheesecake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, but the people at Cat's Eye know what they're doing when it comes to blending. Sadly, they don't have distro to our market yet.
No.
But they do in Tennessee, and there's quite a few places you can pick up their products in Tennessee. And
I'll have to check it out and see if I can find one.
Yeah. I mean, there's There's a lot of liquor stores there.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and I know we're not going to spend all of our time going to liquor stores, but we'll find a couple, I'm sure, to hit up and see if there's anything we can't get up here.
yeah.
Well, and being in Tennessee, hopefully we can find some good Tennessee-only Chattanooga release or something, too. That'd be nice.
Yeah. The other thing is they get a very high distribution of the Jack Daniel's products. So
Look for me a single barrel proof.
yeah,
Oh.
private barrel, single barrel proof.
Even
Like
better, yeah.
they're everywhere. There's a lot of stores releasing the Jack Daniel's Rye single barrel proof picks.
Ooh. I'll look for them.
Yeah. So which we tasted one on the show and it was fantastic. I know that that's not been the consensus for all of them, but across the board they've been good.
Yeah. Well, it's like, going back to the Elijah Craig C923 pick, I haven't heard as much buzz lately about it. There was for a while, and then I hadn't really heard a lot more people talking about it. And it could be because it was from September and we're in November now.
Yeah.
That could be most of it. But I'm not sure. Hey, one thing I was going to bring up too, Dirk from Indiana, he's Indiana Bourbon on Instagram and Facebook. He runs the End of Watch program. We've talked about him a million times. He's doing his best of picks for Indiana for the year.
Yeah.
So Starlight, congratulations. They won the distillery of the year from the guest votes from Indiana Bourbon. Several hundred votes came in on it, and Starlight came out on top by 27 votes over Hard Truth and Old 55.
Yeah, which I am happy to see that.
I am too. I'm really hoping that over the next year or so, we can continue to educate people on the brandies and the stuff that Alan Bishop's doing, because I had this conversation on the side with Dirk too. I love the other distilleries in Indiana, but I feel like he's probably the best distiller we have in the state.
Well, the thing is that he is willing to challenge the status quo on everything, and that's such a refreshing mindset rather than like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a bourbon better than Kentucky. It's like Alan's just like, I want to make what I want to make
The best way I can.
Yeah.
Which
And-
is amazing. And we love him for that.
Yeah, we do.
One thing that Alan gave Fred Minnick one of the bottles that we picked, and I'm anxious to hear if he does any kind of a review on it or talks about it, because I have a feeling he's going to fall in love with it.
Well, and Fred Minnick does the Ascot Awards. I would be interested if we could find some money and send a couple bottles there of that pick for his Ascot Awards. Like, see how it performs.
But does he actually do brandy
Yeah.
in his Ascot? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he only did whiskey.
No, because he did everything, even from Campari last year.
Oh, I'm going to wait. I forgot. I almost built it.
I wanted to talk today
Uh-oh.
about a video I watched yesterday, and the Bourbon Junkies released it. And if you don't know them, they are a very popular whiskey YouTuber.
Good guys.
Good guys. I don't always agree with their palate.
No.
This
honestly, I don't agree with some of the topics they talk about, and that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything.
But this time especially, I don't agree with their palate. So they did a ranking of every single the title is Heaven Hill tier list with a twist ending. Like, it's clickbaity. I get it.
Yeah.
They ranked really. They had an example from all of Heaven Hill's like staple SKUs.
Okay.
So everything in here from Larceny Barrel Proof, Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. They had Bernheim, Cash Strength. Like, you kind of name it, you're thinking about it. As far as Heaven Hill, it was in here. Henry McKenna, Old Fitz.
But none of the like Heaven Hill 17 or any of the Big Dog Heritage Collection. None of those were in there, or were they?
They had a heritage.
Okay,
They
okay.
had the Parker's Heavy Char 10.
Okay,
in
okay.
here.
One I'd love to have.
So, which is came out many years ago.
Yeah.
So thinking about this list, you'd say, what comes out on top? Probably the Parker's Heavy Char. I would probably put the Old Fitz second to it.
Okay.
And honestly, Henry McKenna might come next, or maybe even just a really good Elijah Craig barrel proof.
Yeah, I mean, even like that Larceny B523 we've got over there, that is the best one of that I've ever had. Honestly,
Yeah.
Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond, the newer one, I think that is for a just a bottle and bond, it's delicious. But I love Heaven Hill.
Yeah. So I don't know what they had drank before this episode, but I have never disagreed with their palate more. Because in absolute last place, I think they scored it around a 20. Like
out of what?
Out of 100.
What?
Combined
There's
scores
nothing that they make 20 out of 100.
was Elijah Craig Toasted.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a proof hound, I could maybe see you not proofing a high.
But you know what they made?
Flavor.
You know what they put above that? Everything else, but specifically regular old Larceny.
And that's one I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. Like if anything was going to score
Nothing
low
wrong
for
with
me,
it. It's just a lower proof weeder, and I'm not a big lower proof weeder guy. So
but yeah, in fifth place was Parker's Heavy Char 10-year, which was
so they got 4 things above.
which is one of the most legendary and sought after Heaven Hill releases. You talk about Parker's with anyone, they're like, yeah, the Heavy Char bourbon, the Heavy Char, the Heavy Char. That's it. Like people put that above the 17-year release, above the what we lovingly call Mellow Corn 20.
Yep. Which is delicious.
But that was in fifth place. In fourth place was Henry McKenna 10. In third place was Elijah Craig Single Barrel, which is a product that they no longer make. Mm-hmm. In third place was an Old Fitz. I think it was the 19 that they came out with.
Okay.
And in first place, and this was a blind,
Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond.
Elijah Craig Barrel Proof
C923.
C923.
See,
I cannot imagine putting that above even Evan Williams Single Barrel. Like
Evan Williams Single Barrel is delicious. I like it way better. Evan Williams 12, way better.
yeah.
I think honestly, okay.
And
maybe
we're
it was
not
skewed.
sitting here
No.
discounting their palates and what they tasted and what they like. All I'm saying is I am tired of hearing about C923.
I'll tell you what. This is probably one of those, maybe one of the only bourbons I could literally put a flight of 30 bourbons on the table and have that as one of them. I could pick it out every freaking time. It's that medicinal oak.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you cannot pick that out. So if they did that blind, they knew what it was. They had to know what it was. It's so totally different than anything else that Elijah Craig's put out.
Well, and the thing is like on that Heavy Char, it is just beautiful, thick, viscous, sweet, refined oak. And then you get to the C923 and it is just tannic. Mm-hmm. Like it is oaky.
It just went too far.
I think it did.
I think it's about a year too old. And wow. I don't get it, man. We opened up 2 different bottles just hoping that maybe one bottle of ours was tainted. It's not. But you know what? To each his own. If that's
To
what
each
you
his own.
like,
Yeah.
definitely it's unique. It's different than anything Elijah Craig's ever made. I don't know. Maybe people are just excited about it being something totally different. I don't get it.
But I can't imagine putting that in a blind with some of the most legendary releases from Heaven Hill.
Yeah, and not winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is odd.
Also, they completely poo-pooed on the new Parker's Heritage release, which is their rye. It's a 10-year rye. They said it tasted young and that it should have never been a Parker's Heritage release.
So what they did was they drank that after the Tannic Elijah Craig. and said, "Oh, this tastes young," because it actually was smooth?
I legitimately don't know, but I have this theory about the bourbon channels that then go to release their own brands that they just become so accustomed to drinking young stuff because of their I'm gonna get into this.
Yeah, I'm gonna try a little bit of this Kentucky Owl too.
Because they just get so accustomed to drinking like whiskey from their brand straight out of the barrel at like 4 years.
Yeah.
That they find something there and they're like, oh, this is amazing. And I think that like sets a benchmark in your head of like, this is fantastic. Like, no, dude, this is fantastic for your product.
Right.
And then you go to another brand and you're just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you were so excited about your own thing.
Sure.
You know, I had this with
and I get that completely, because you go to some of these small mom and pop distilleries out there, and you come in as a whiskey nerd and you're chasing like, oh, that stuff is terrible. But you know what? They probably love it because they got blood, sweat, and tears in this. Yeah. Why wouldn't they love it? Yeah. Otherwise, why were they trying to sell it? So I get some of that.
And you know, I had this when I was deep into my Starlight cake. Don't get me wrong. I still love Starlight. I still have a ton of Starlight bottles. I love them.
Oh,
that's what I drank on a regular basis. So my favorite Starlight bottles were like, those were my benchmarks for everything else.
Yeah.
You know what? I eventually got so sick and tired of finished whiskeys, like from my everyday pours, that I basically reset my palate to like stuff like older Knob Creek picks.
Yeah.
Or some of the older Heaven Hill stuff that I've gotten. Even our Elijah Craig barrel proof pick. Like, those things hit my palate so much more. And then if I want something that leans into that finished quality, I'll drink one of the brandies we picked.
Yeah.
Like, if I want that fruitiness, if I want that, like, I'll go to that. And those Starlights now, because I have been on this kick of drinking oaky, Kentucky, everything, that nutty quality. I go back to the Starlight and I'm like, I see what I liked about this.
Yeah.
But it's not doing the thing that I want from it anymore.
Well, and I don't mean this to sound degrading to anybody. Someone's going to take it that way, but I feel like Starlight is a great distillery for a newer bourbon lover, because you can go in there and you can taste a wide range of different products at a little lower proof. I mean, their high proof stuff's usually in that 105, 106 until you get to something special. But you can try a wide range of stuff, different finishes, and figure out what your palate is. It's a great way to get into it, which is kind of what you're saying. You really were into it with this stuff. But at some point, you come back and say, I want to get back to tradition a little bit more. I want to see what the distillate holds up on its own.
Well, and there is something genuinely special to me about just a distillate sitting in a barrel and then either being blended or whatever. It's just, there's something so pure and natural about it. Like, you can take any distillate and finish it, and that is a brash generalization. It just is. And you know, I'm sure there'll be somebody that can prove me wrong.
The White Dog still's got to be good to start out with.
If you finish it, it's like you can cover up a lot of sins.
Yep.
You can cover up a ton of sins. You can cover up youth. You can do everything. I think about like the Whiskey War from, who makes
High
that?
Bank.
High Bank.
Yeah.
But they're willing to tell you, this is a blend.
Yep.
This is not finished. And for all we know, it could be a 2-year-old product.
Yep.
And with that pour. And you know what? It is good for that.
Yep.
But your palate just comes accustomed to what you're drinking. I still stand by Starlight's higher age releases. Like the 2021 Family Reserves are still some of my favorite. It's one of my favorite ryes that I own to this day.
And it was a decent price point back then too, wasn't it?
Well, it was $125,
which is not bad for
7-year rye.
7-year rye. I mean,
at true cask
max
strength.
Yeah.
At true cask strength. So it's just one of those things where I think your palate becomes accustomed to what you drink the most of.
Yeah.
And that's where your preference lies. Mm-hmm. If I were drinking finished stuff all the time, like I was for a while, I don't think I would appreciate even like a George T as much. And you'd still be able to taste that and say, yeah, that's good. But now I taste it and I'm like, there is so much going on here, like just the oak characteristic, everything that has been put into this spirit. It's a piece of art rather than, something that feels man-made.
Yep.
But I guess that's not a knock to the bourbon junkies.
No, and honestly, I mean,
they've done a lot from my whiskey knowledge, everything. But if I'm ever looking for a YouTuber that I'm like, yeah, I typically agree with this palate, it's Mash and Drum. Jason is he is great about giving the history on the bottle, and I think his tasting notes line up a lot of times with what I find.
Which in the same light, he loves C923 too. So you're not going to always agree with everybody, and honestly,
you shouldn't.
And that's the other thing too to be interesting is like, we do this. We taste some whiskeys and we pair them with cigars and we drink a lot of different whiskeys and try them. But if you were a reviewer and you're drinking whiskey every day, a lot of different whiskeys and stuff, you're probably looking for something unique. And I would say that C923 is definitely unique and different.
Yeah.
It's just not my palate or your palate, either one.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Fred Minnick will tell you is that he gets hundreds of samples coming in per month.
Yeah.
Of every distillery in the world that wants to make one of his YouTube video reviews.
Yeah.
And he'll taste them, and the ones that are good will get on there, but there's a million others that will never see the light of day.
And that's one of the things I like about the boys from the Whiskey Tribe. They get so many freaking bottles. They're actually not even accepting bottles anymore because they have so many back to do. And they do like a video every day, pretty much. And but they are very good at breaking down a whiskey, talking about the brand, and really creating a little bit of buzz around them. And they will tell you if this is not good. This is not my thing, or they'll be honest with you about that. And I appreciate that about those guys. And they're big fans of Starlight.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool to see.
Oh, Daniel's palate lines up with a lot of Ted. And the first bottle that they got was a Ted pick.
Yeah.
And it was just a Ted pick bourbon, which is typically high rye, a spicier bourbon. And which I love Ted's picks as well. Ted and Christian are my guys. Blake is a little bit too sweet, but Rob loves the Blake stuff.
Yep.
It's Starlight does have a little bit of something for everyone.
They do.
I can't say differently. Are you cutting that off? What are you doing?
Well, there's an extra 2 bands here in there.
Yeah, there's 2 bands.
I was trying to get that one to pop.
You could get that with your thumbnail, dude. It's right here.
Yeah, I know. It's not as easy as you think.
Mine was easy.
Mine's not. Cigar ring sucks.
Oh my gosh!
God, these guys
give me that
terrible.
cigar.
These guys are
you're
terrible. These are horrible.
That is actually glued down really well. I'll give it to you.
There you go.
Rob just chews his fingernails, so he can't do it.
Oh, I cut my fingernails. Thank you very much. Hey, look, the story of.
It's the entire
Thank you
gospel.
for sharing our story.
Created
the
by
gospel of
Liga Privada.
No, it's the gospel of Drew.
Created by our torcedores who had to reduce their consumption of Liga Privadas. They banded together and crafted a blend for their own daily enjoyment.
So a torcedor is just a cigar roller. You know that, right?
Nope, I didn't know that. By selecting different vintages and primings, it was no mere replacement. and quickly became their favorite smoke. Our people, the common folk of Nicaragua,
The people.
are the true living fabric and heart of our factory in Esteli, La Gran Fabrica du Estate.
Yep.
The production floor where they demonstrate their craft is the crossroads between art and passion, and where the real magic takes place every single day.
Every day.
Thank you for making Undercrown your favorite cigar in the world. For the past 10 years, it means the world to us. A decade of dedication.
I love you, Drew.
I love you.
I love you. Now go out and get a pants or a tracksuit and do your thing.
Is that what they wear?
Oh, they used to, at least at a lot of the trade shows. They'd be running around
Are
in
they owned by
tracksuits and goggles.
by Swisher?
They are now, yeah.
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 Thank you from Swisher Sweets.
Yes. Go get your backwood smokes.
Backwoods and Underground, baby. Let's see you collab.
I am digging this cigar, though. This is actually very pleasant. And the cool thing is, this is a Maduro. It says medium to full. I'm
I'd
saying
call it a
maybe
medium
now.
right now.
Yeah,
I cannot believe how slow this is going.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
We got a few more minutes in here. We'll keep chatting a minute longer here. So, anything else going on this week that you need to share with the crowd?
That I need to share with the crowd? Not really.
So Will stopped by last night and brought in the Knob Creek 18 this year.
How is
Tried
it?
it. It was good.
Yeah.
I remember we tried last year's and
And it was over oaked.
it was way over. This is not.
The other thing is this year, it seems like every store has gotten multiple cases of it.
Yeah.
So they made a ton for at least our market. I don't know how other markets have been.
Well,
or if
they
just
either made a ton or
messed up.
people aren't buying as much as they were a year or two ago.
The other thing is I think I saw it. The cheapest one I saw was around that 150 mark. Last year it was around that 180 to 190. It also came in it was practically a puzzle box. Like,
Oh, cool.
if you were drunk, there was no way
No way
you
you're
were
open.
getting it out
That's
of
your
there.
sobriety test.
I mean, there was literally a door that you had to pull a wood block out of just to get the bottle out. And everyone I talked to who got one was like, yeah, I couldn't figure out how to get it out at first. Like,
That's funny. That's kind of cool, though.
oh, it was. But they realized, hey, we wasted our money on these wood boxes that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Maybe this year we should just give them a bottle with liquid inside of it.
Yeah, and knocked out $40 off the price. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's one thing I did ask Will, because that's one thing I'm always curious about when someone spends a higher amount on a bottle, and I'm talking
Which this
like
is
over 150.
This is 100 proof 18-year product.
Yeah, and I think it was like, what do you say, 160 maybe, or
Yeah.
140 or somewhere in that range. I always like to ask the question, was it worth it to you? And some people, it's no big deal. I'm just going to buy whiskey, whatever. But I always like to ask that question. It's like, is it worth the money for it? Will said, oh yeah, absolutely. He said, I'm glad to have it. He's like, now am I going to go out and seek a second bottle? No.
Yeah.
But he's glad to have the one bottle to share, and he's very generous to share. And I think that's awesome. That's a good point. And I trust his palate. I also trust his mindset on that too. And I feel like, if you're into Knob Creek, you should probably try to find you an 18 this year, because it's really good.
It is good. The 150 is a hard mark for me. It has to be something special, and it's got to be something I've tried before. I will not be taking a chance at really over $100. I don't take a chance.
Yeah.
Like if there was a Stag Junior for $150, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
And there's a few. I mean, like spending the crazy money on the Heaven Hill 17 for Lisa. That was a birthday gift. That's a special gift. But I also knew it was going to be freaking delicious.
Yeah, and you knew she liked it.
And we knew she liked it. The other thing is like the Garrison Brothers stuff. You're talking $150 to $200 for a lot of their bottles. Most of them start at that 170 price point. I'm a believer now. I will have no problem buying a bottle of that to keep it on my shelf consistently because
But
it's
it's
that
not an
good.
everyday pour for you.
No. I mean, if it was, I'd be having a good day every day. But it's a little bit pricier than what I would spend on an everyday pour.
Yeah.
But again, it's very good, and I will trust everything Garrison Brothers puts out. At least give them the benefit of the doubt on it.
Yeah.
Balcones is another one. Their prices are not real high, but I love their whiskey. Most of it I've had has been very,
All
very
of
good.
their cash strength offerings
Cask strength,
have been amazing to me. Even their ZZ Top collab, which is not a whiskey. It's something else. It's like a rum, whiskey, whatever. It's great.
Yeah.
It is great. They call it the Rumble. If you see it, it's just something different to switch up in your palate, which actually – they have great distribution in Nashville. So if you stop by some Nashville liquor stores, I'm sure you'll see.
Well, I know
your
Alan
Balcones
picked up one
offerings.
when we were down in Texas.
Yeah.
He brought one back too. There was something else I was going to bring up there too. Totally.
Balcones, Garrison Brothers, high-priced whiskeys.
No, I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, so it's just I will probably never be the person to say, yeah, this $100-some bottle will be my everyday pour.
No.
And for me to spend that kind of money, it has got to be something special for me, and it'll be a special occasion thing.
Well, and that's the thing. Not everybody has everyday pours. I mean, I get it. Some people are just like, I'm going to have a good pour on the weekend. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy that can afford to get a $200 bottle and sip on it for several months in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, with some of the great whiskeys out there at a low price, I mean, if you're an everyday drinker, freaking Benchmark Full Proof,
Yeah.
$16 is a bottle. Last time I bought one, it's fantastic, and it's probably the best low price bourbon offering I've had in a very, very long time.
Yeah. I would be interested in maybe it's an experiment we do on the show is buying a bottle of Benchmark Full Proof and then also getting one of the oak staves that people sell to put in bottles. Like just throw that in there and see what it does. You know,
Toast it.
You can buy toasted staves. You can also buy charred staves
Yeah.
and keep it going. I know, Oak and Eden does that on every bottle, but it's also a way for them to get whiskey out of the barrel and onto the shelf quicker. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it, but Oak and Eden has an online program where you can customize a bottle.
Oh, really?
You can customize the stave. You can also customize. It's not finishing, and it is more like flavoring. And I forget what they call it, but you can get honey. You can get sherry. I think they do port, but they will also do that in your bottle.
That's kind of cool.
In states that have direct to consumer shipping available, you can do that.
Which Indiana does now.
Do we?
Thought we did.
No.
We're starting to get shipments coming into Indiana now.
From who?
I've been hearing a lot of people getting shipments coming into Indiana now.
Maybe I'm behind the mark.
I know Dan Hand gets shipments coming into Indiana from his bourbon group that's blending barrels and stuff like that.
That's different.
Well, no, it's not from a club. It's from the actual blenders. So they're a distiller.
Yeah.
I thought for sure we were opened up now. You gonna look it up?
Yeah.
I thought for sure we were able to ship in Indiana now. I mean, Sealbox ships here now, and they couldn't do that if it was not legal, right? I don't know what the legalities of that is.
Yeah, you can only legally do wine and beer in Indiana still. It's not fully open. There is a lot of places that are doing it just because I don't think there's any enforcement.
Okay.
So
Nix that then. I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out because I know I've been hearing a lot of people get stuff shipped to them. So I would think if they're getting it shipped to them,
yeah,
they'd be doing it legally.
I know Sealbox will do it here, and I know Barrel King will, which is
Dan's.
Hand.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sealbox is in D.C., so they're very well.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought they were in Kentucky.
No, they
bad.
have some people based in Kentucky for it.
Okay.
But they ship out of D.C., which could afford them some loopholes because D.C. has a lot of loopholes.
Yeah.
They were one of the first to be able to legally have weed, but it couldn't be sold. So you had a lot of people selling T-shirts for like $60, and you just happened to get weed along with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here's some free weed with your $60 T-shirt.
Yeah. So
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's just if you're gonna live in a place like that, work the system.
Yeah.
Please do it.
Back to this cigar. I have not had to relight this once. It's still an absolutely perfect line, smoking perfectly. I'm very impressed with this cigar.
Yeah.
Even more so than when I smoked it down there. Now, I don't think it's as complex as, say, a knuckle sandwich Maduro or any of the more full-bodied, rich cigars. But overall, this thing is a fantastic cigar, and it's going to be a really good seller.
I really think this thing starts off towards the full-bodied and leans back into a medium.
Still medium for me right now.
Yeah, it's super very medium. I'm finally approaching the final third, and we're an hour and almost 30 minutes into this episode. So.
Yeah, I'm just now getting close to the final third here too. So, well, anything else you got to talk about?
I don't think so.
All right, cool.
I think we can wrap this up. I would like to give a shout out to our long-term sponsor, the man who built this table, Deadwood Live. Seriously, and you guys that are on YouTube will not be able to see this, but this thing is sitting on a whiskey barrel. It's a live edge table sitting on a whiskey barrel. Just absolutely beautiful craftsmanship, bow tie, inlays to hold the cracks together, and filled with probably epoxy. Like a lot of time, a lot of effort spent on this table.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a statement piece for your house, your home bar, anything, hit up Deadwood Live.
Yeah.
Check out the Facebook page. That's DED Wood Live. There's a ton of projects. He's done shelves for people. He's done full bar tops for people. Absolutely everything. Check him out. It's not. You are definitely getting a one-of-one piece.
Yeah, and if you've ever come in here and sat at a couple of our tables, he's made whiskey barrel stools that have the swivel on them.
Yeah,
those things are solid as a rock, man. They're not going anywhere. They're going to last forever. So,
and this is a cigar lounge. We got big people coming in.
Absolutely,
here.
man.
And those things, I'm sure, could hold 700 pounds.
Yes.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, easy. So. Yes. Cool, man.
Well, cool. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to leave us some comments, like the YouTube video, leave us an honest 5-star review, and you can find me at the Whiskey Pastor on Instagram. I really haven't posted that much, but if you want to see my post when I do, that's where you can find me.
Yeah, and you can find me at Final Third Cigar on Instagram or Facebook. So we will see you guys next week, and we're excited to have you in. So cheers.
Cheers.